What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the Words with Wade podcast, episode 184. On vacation, like really.
She legit took a trip.
Yeah, she'll be back next week, and I know they're saying the same thing, but it's different. I just gotta believe me, it's different. It's just coincidence. Look, now I don't want to do the show. Now. We should just wait there. Like this, that's what the comments gonna say. Oh, he's doing this thing. No, it's nothing like that.
We got receipts. We got receipts.
Yes.
We can put out the screenshots and everything. It was like of her saying, like, yeah, I'm gonna be out of town. Y'all just go ahead and do the show without me. We got receipts.
We're all good. Nobody threatened to fight anybody. Everything's good. Just she had something she had to handle, so she's out of town. She'll be back. In the meantime, you know, Stride the Dungeons a wrap. Fake niggas don't make it back. I don't know how to start this. Jesus. I'll do the whole joint. What the fuck is that? Hey, Nas getting credit for skating on that shit.
Hey, look, I will honestly say, I thought that was like the coolest way to start off a verse, because everybody who's ever written anything, not even just music, not even just rap, anybody who's ever written anything has stared at the blank sheet of paper and said, yo, I don't know how to start this.
I want to start this. You know, low-key.
He literally recorded it and then said it, and I stole that shit. I can't remember what song I did it all.
Yo, listen though, low-key, Illmatic had the best intros. Not only that, you also had like the Bitch intro on the same album with him and AZ. You know the Grants, like you know how that the same album.
Like, exactly. We spinning the jacks. What?
Yeah, low-key Nas. Yeah, low-key Nas. Best intros in hip hop. Low-key.
I don't know how to start this show. Damn, what? I'm gonna have to try to find what song I said that on.
But
oh shit! I don't know how to start this. Wrestling with my conscience. Should I do?
No, the crazy part is I don't know how to start this and then proceed to go 87 bars. Just starting this shit. Like, yo, I don't know how to start this, man. Someone keep flipping. What the fuck? Like, dog, I thought you know what to say.
Exactly. That's what that now it came back. How should I start this? I'm wrestling with my conscience. Yeah.
There you go.
No, it was a feature on Benny's joint.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Benny.
Always the print master.
Yeah. Shout out to Benny, stand up guy. It's my guy. But hey, a lot has happened in hip hop, so we want to give y'all what we can give y'all. That will, you know, I'm not even going to that other stuff because we're gonna sound too much like them. But things are changing. There you go. Because you know what I'm saying, it's just all symmetry, man. Just stuff happened at the same time. I'm really not trying to do this on purpose, y'all. I'm really not. Just Yeah, that's I just talked about that, remember? I just said that.
Yeah.
We'll put that in the conversation. Um, but hey, like we always do whenever there's a versus, let's start talking about the verses that just happened, and let's get into what we like to call the rundown. The rundown. So Saturday,
she's coming back, y'all. We promise.
Yeah, I promise you, she's coming back. I feel like I should call her and put her on the phone. Like, hey, Scan's here, y'all. She's good. So Saturday just passed. We had the Battle of the Woo. So like we try to do with these, you just know. If you know hip hop, you know. That's a group. Who try to do? We try to give y'all opinions on it. I didn't live stream it. Normally when these battles happen, I live tweet my opinion on it. Unfortunately, I had a bunch of stuff going on this weekend, so I couldn't do that. However, me and Gia sit here and we were trying not to break down every 800 tracks they played
because they went in.
Yeah, they. But I expected that because Ghost and Ray are characters. You know what I'm saying? I expect that. If you ever hear them talk or conversate, there's certain things I expect from them. And
exactly.
One of the things and one of the good things about verses is that you get to see that other side of people when they tell their stories. Like some people might not knew that Jadakiss was like that funny, but you saw that in the verses. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know Babyface was that petty, but you saw that in verses. Like there's certain things you get to see, and if you know
saw it in person.
Yeah, you see it. You're like, if you know Ghost, he's a character. So it's good to see that. And like I told you earlier, he lost a bunch of weight. He looked good. The guy looked good. So shout out to him for that. Pause and all that. He did. I mean, just if I have to. I don't know because you know how niggas is. So. Okay. Let's get into it. They started off. They started off with a special delivery. Came out swinging, right? Like, how can you come out with special delivery off top? And that song goes hard anyway. Like Ghost intro on the remix of special delivery was hard.
Yeah, I was shocked. As soon as the beat dropped, I was like, huh?
Yeah, I was like, you started with this? Like, you started with this?
I was like, this is not a Woo track.
but it's funny because it did change the rules. So I thought it'd be only their tracks. But then you start playing like remixes and stuff. You're like, oh, but I mean,
I thought that was dope.
Yeah, and I don't want to say this disrespectfully because I'm not disrespectful, but I think that's the only way you can make it fair. Like Ray's catalog is not comparable to Ghost's, even though they might have the same number of songs or same number of albums. Ghost has more hits. Ghost has a better solo career than Ray. I think personally. Like I would venture.
We put a pin in that. We can put a pin in that. We'll come back to that.
Like, and I don't, and I like Ray. Don't get me wrong, but Ray is not in the top 20.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, previous opinions given about this battle was one first and foremost didn't want it. Like what for? Didn't make sense. Was that Ghost would you know, be more of the victor because he had more commercial success than Raekwon has.
Right.
So I figured like the way the tracks was basically gonna drop, how the cars was gonna get played, I felt like it would be a lot more known Ghostface songs than the Chef. But in all honesty,
I would.
see, and this, I guess this is where the hip hop head came out. Like, you got to listen to how Ray went at that shit. He destroyed the beat.
No question.
But I think again, the more known song between the two is Special Delivery, of course.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about these verses. When people mention people, they said somebody's catalog bigger than the other catalog. It's not about your catalog; it's how you play those cards.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like,
it's kind of also what that individual has been exposed to as well. Because I'll be quite honest, I'm as well versed in both. It's like, oh shit, I remember this. Oh, I remember this. Oh damn.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was like. Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in round 2, you had Raekwon did 10 bricks, and Ghost did Ghostini, and I was like, that's Ghost. It's just certain things.
I had to get at the Ghost.
So it's like certain joints. I'm like,
I had to get at the Ghost.
And I'm not gonna read every round because it gets repetitive. It's no point. But there's certain joints I'm gonna just jump out to the ones that were just like, oh man. Like round 4, you had Mighty Healthy versus Incarcerated Scarfaces. Like, Incarcerated Scarface is one of those legendary hip hop tracks, especially if you're from that era.
If I'm not mistaken, after that guy played, Ghost sat down. He was like, okay.
Yeah. Like, if you're from that era, almost nothing tops Incarcerated Scarface.
Right.
So that was Ray. And then you had I just said we can do everything, but Ghostface round 5 was Ghost Black Jesus versus Raekwon live from New York. Now, I think Black Jesus is probably the better track.
Black Jesus. But yeah, that's impressive to me. That the fact that you West Coast and you still fuck with a track called Live from New York.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's monumental to me. That's really monumental to me.
I mean, it's just the track goes. Wu-Tang fan, and the track just goes hard. I've always been a Raekwon fan. I mean, he could have did Live from the Bay or something. I've been great with that, but the line is Live from New York, so I get it. I get it. It's whatever. Yeah. But see, in that verse, in that match there, I would give it a Ray, but you can't really go against Ghostin. Was that a Mobilarity Live from New York?
Yeah, it was on a Mobilarity. I don't know if that was the lead single. It might have been. because I know Immobilarity was a single too.
Yeah.
And he told the story about doing the video and everything with Floyd and Zab.
Yeah, Immobilarity. People just, I think to this day, people still don't understand Immobilarity. Immobilarity was a
I think so
dope,
too. I
album.
thought it was a dope album.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people do that, but I think I recognize Hove the most for doing it. I can think of maybe like 6 or 7 tracks for Hove really like stop in the middle of the track and like, yo, did you hear what I just said? You heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Hove, we got you, Hove, we got you. The next we had, I mean, hey, it's yours, you should win. You have, play to watch. I mean, it's yours is one of the classic new tracks. I don't really think that should have counted because it's not a really. Both of them on the track.
Yeah, I mean, both of them were on shit that they played.
Yeah, that's true.
So it had at some point turned into like, nigga, my verse was just better than yours. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, sure. So I go. I mean, the fact the lyrics were true, and people don't know the story behind the whole Tommy Mottola and all that stuff. Yeah. It's a hard loss because in spades, Trisha Like Ghost should walk. You know what I'm saying? You put that on, that should walk.
Mm.
That's a book. You counted that. Nah. I'm cutting spades. Like, nah. Nah. That 8 ain't gonna walk. Sorry. That's like a 10. That's like a 10 in spades. Look, I'm talking spades talk. People that never play spades are like, what the hell is what you talking about? But
I can live on the truth. Hey, look.
Then you go to round 9, the next round, when Ghost played New God Flow and Ray played Fate of Grace, which was I mean, again, this goes back to the earlier conversation. It just really depends on your preference. Like New God Flow was crazy. Even not even Ghost verse. Like Push was crazy. Kanye was crazy.
The whole song was crazy.
Yeah, so it just goes to your personal preference. I would give, of course, New God Flow. Then you go Ghost and round 10 was Ghost and RZA Nutmeg versus Raekwon and Ghost Criminology. Again, Criminology is from Cuban Links, one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. So, like, Cuban Links is arguably one of the few albums in the history of music that is no skips, or maybe one skip. Um, you got Cream, round 11 Cream can't beat Cream. I mean, Ray plays Cream. It doesn't matter what Ghost plays.
Nah, it's fucking Cream.
Yeah, it's Cream. Come on. Like, then Ray comes back with Rainy Days, which was crazy. But Ghost plays Daytona 500, which was also crazy. Like, hearing these songs, I haven't heard them in a long time. Like, yo, I forgot that. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's like I said, it ended up being way better than what I thought it was going to be. It wouldn't surprise me if that starts to happen more, like, you know, Jadakiss and Styles and like just the groups that, you know, aren't technically groups,
Mm-hmm.
like Talib Kweli and Gasam Bing, formerly Most Def. They do a
Right.
versus.
The Gucci Man and Jeezy probably changed it because that was real beef.
Yeah.
And if you look at the timeline of it, they really haven't had a versus since then. They've all kind of been celebratory. It's cool. So I think that maybe changed the energy of versus. Some other highlights. I just want to go to round 13 because one of my favorite Ghostface records. First off, Ray played Glaciers of Ice, which is phenomenal. Again, it's purple tape, Glaciers of Ice. Like, you know what I mean? It's phenomenal. But then Ghost played on my favorite Ghost record, Run. Like, that record, Run is crazy.
Yeah, that
Run
shit is
makes you want
dope.
to stab somebody. Run is, yes, I love that.
It definitely is. Like this, the imagery that's given, the energy that's given.
I just can't. Matter of fact, I would love to see in the era of joint albums, I would love to see a Ghost and Kiss album.
I mean, not
But
Ghost.
Kiss and Fab,
Kiss and Fab.
that was
But
hard, but it wasn't. I feel like it wasn't as hard as it could have been. But they had to make like
I would
commercial
have,
records too.
yeah, I would have to agree with that.
Like
But like, I think the old school like melodies and samples that Ghost fuck with and Kiss fucks with, that shit'll, yeah. Look, y'all listening. We know y'all be listening. Y'all just don't be wanting to chime in and say nothing. We need that. We need that. Y'all heard it here first. The
I
Ghostface and
1000%
Jada Kiss product.
that.
Shayla Kiss.
There it is. Shit, like
Shayla Kiss.
That's the difference. Ray doesn't have that.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you go verbal intercourse, which again, purple tape. You can't go against purple tape. But shit. And there's a couple other joints I'm not gonna get into because we'll be doing this shit all night. But
Yeah.
I would say, like, just looking at it again. Yeah, yeah. You're right, round 5. So almost everything else except that round was from the purple tape. All his wins anyway. All his wins.
Number 7.
Round 7 was
round 7.
Was a Wu-Tang album. Well, no, Raekwon.
Hold on. 100 rounds.
To me, it showed Ghost's catalog. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the catalogs are just uneven.
Yeah, I mean, nobody fronts on Raekwon for the purple tape, or that's a staple in hip hop. So
Right.
basically, anything that gets played off of there is probably going to knock a lot of other shit out the box. So, but like you said, the diversity that Ghostface presented from the catalog, I think is something to definitely take note of. Something that certainly needs to be paid attention to and mentioned.
Definitely. Now, I still can't call the winner. I would say, if you're going by the numbers, I would say Raekwon won is by the numbers. Just looking at the performance and like we said, the versatility of the song. Those have songs from when he first came out to other, like, 3 or 4 different albums. So the longevity in his career.
Right.
It just really depends on your personal preference. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Ghost and Ray. You know what I'm saying? It's a win for both of them.
Exactly.
Now, also moving on a little bit, the live show we did, a lot of the comments I got to where I was arguing the contrarian points. I got a lot of people saying I'm real critical of verses. I was just arguing the opposite side of the spectrum. I didn't say my opinion. I actually said that like several times. Not saying my opinion, but people didn't hear
their hand is impaired.
Yeah, they didn't hear that part. They just said, "Oh, he's arguing." What I will say is that I don't know if this is a byproduct of them joining with Trilla or being bought by Trilla, or however you want to frame it. They've done something that they've never done before. They actually announced the next 2 matches, and another one was announced today.
Right.
So the next verses we have is on April the 4th. We have the Isley Brothers versus Earth, Wind, and Fire, which is the Easter show, which I can't call it.
That's just gonna be that's all for the meal.
Yeah.
You said that's on the 4th?
Yeah, that's April 4th.
Yeah,
Easter
so that's
Sunday.
that's on the Sunday. Yeah, that's all for the meal. What time is it?
It doesn't show here. Yeah, it doesn't show here. It just says Easter, April 4th.
That joint gonna be at like 4:00.
yeah, 1,000%, 1,000%. It should be like 1:00 so people can clean the house up.
Yeah. Oh no, it's gonna be right after Easter.
I didn't
dinner.
get that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm so curious to see how that shit is gonna go because Bounty Killer and Beanie Man, when they did their joint, they like were literally performing. We all know that they were the ones who like started like the actual performing during the joint. Like we in the same spot, the energy crazy, we performing. Red and Meth, anytime they get anywhere together, it's a whole fucking performance. Like the entertainment is crazy. So yeah, this is gonna be hilarious.
Yeah, and just them two in general, like in anything they've done, another unofficial official group. I think that'd probably be the comedy behind that'd be hilarious.
Can you imagine the stories they're gonna be telling? How they about to be?
Yeah, because they got it. It's on 420, so it has to be. They have to be. Like it kind of goes with it.
Just a big ass bowl,
right? Like in the middle of them, and have Cheech and Chong come up there with some other happy.
That'll be ill.
They have to. I mean, it's 420. You have if you're going to put it on 420, you have to play into the whole 420 thing. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Yeah. Why schedule it for that date if you're not going to use that date?
Oh no, I'm pretty sure that was that was completely understood.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wherever their verses is held, marijuana is legal.
1,000%. 1,000%. I'm looking forward to that one too. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be interesting on a couple of levels.
Very much so. I know that's one of the ones that's been talked about quite a few times. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that people were saying was kind of unfair. I think sometimes when we pair up the verses, people look at it as the amount of people that's involved. Right. Like as far as like, SWV only got 3, Escape got 5. So it's like, well, that's not fair. You got to match the numbers. But nah, we matching music. So I think it's gonna be a good celebration, good verses. I'm
very curious because I'm sure neither group will bring it up, of course, but they have no control of the comments.
Right. So
and
I even saw the promotional material, and of course Tiny is on it. I didn't even look at any of the comments, but like you said, if she shows, I'm pretty sure that within the comments people gonna say shit with the legal situation her and Tip are facing currently. And to me, it's a good versus. So I would hate for that to like overshadow the actual I guess like the Jubilee situation. That's kind of like a dark cloud over top of it right now. It's just like
right. But here's the crazy thing.
But her not showing up implements the fact that, oh, well, why wouldn't you show up if you ain't got nothing to hide?
Exactly. And so, I mean, they can maybe disable the comments, but I don't think they'll do that because if you do that, then why y'all disable the comments?
Exactly. Y'all never did that before. So
yeah, it's a rough situation. So, But I think it's a good show. It'll be a good show. I'm looking forward to it. And I think if you look at the first, kind of put out a flyer. I think then they have another one after that for May 9th, which I've never seen them do one on one day, then the next day do another one.
Nah.
Like I've never seen it that close together.
They pushing content. They pushing content.
Yeah, clearly this is part of their deal with Triller to, you guys could do the rest of your year or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they have the Mother's Day special on May 9th, and then the quote unquote rematch. They're not saying who, but I'm assuming this is Swiss and Tim the rematch. That's what I'm assuming. It says rematch. So that's at least until June. Well, it's Memorial Day weekend, so yeah, until June. We will see. Versus Triller. And hey, if y'all out there versus, I'm not being overcritical on versus, I'm just making comments. It's content, y'all. It's content. Versus was in Clubhouse the other day too. They had a versus room to celebrate their 1 year anniversary. I'm not a Clubhouse guy, so I wasn't there, but I heard enough about it. So shout out to them. Now, I did want to mention Swiss and Tim were on the Breakfast Club, and they, to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of versus, and they did bring up, I guess, one of the biggest versus regrets they had. Let me just get to the audio here.
What artists fell through was like, damn, we could have happened, but it just the stars didn't align.
When Dr. Dre wasn't feeling the sound from Teddy Riley and Babyface, that hurt our heart. I was like, oh my God. like, you remember when if you go back, Dr. Dre was at the Teddy Riley one. He came at the end. But he was supposed to come at the end and announce that he's going to do verses that night.
Really? And I saw him on the phone one night with somebody. Who was he on the phone with? I seen him on the phone with Breon. FaceTime.
Yeah, he was on the phone with Breon, but wasn't he actually at he was at the Teddy Riley one, the last one.
So he was going to announce he was next. And who was he battling? Was he battling Puff?
I don't think he was going to announce who he was battling. I think he was going to announce like, yo, I'm ready. I'm coming. Just be ready. I'm coming. He was going to hit them with something. Then he got on the phone. He was like, man, I can't be a part of nothing that look like sound like that. My legacy is quality. My legacy is this, that. I was just like, oh, we just lost Dre. Damn it. Over that. What? Like it just felt that one felt pretty crazy. But since then, the energy's been very good.
Yeah, that's crazy. You think about it, because I would have loved to see who he was going to go against, and it had to be Puff. Who else do you pull out for Dre? Like, who else do you pull out for Dre?
I still don't think Dre and Puff are an equal match.
Yeah, I agree with you, but it's kind of like how we talked about Trina and Kim. Like, they see themselves as bigger than what they are. So Puff being Puff is big in the hip hop culture. Let's be clear. Let's not take any away from Puff.
No, I'm not trying to dim his star, nothing like that. It's just, and maybe I'm not 100%. Maybe how Puff does everything in the studio. It's just like, I know Dr. Dre pushes buttons. Mm-hmm. I'm not too familiar with seeing Puff pushing buttons. It's more of him giving direction from what I've seen.
Right. I mean, I've known Puff to produce a couple of records, but I think as he got in his career, as people should, he started delegating responsibility to people. But I think some of those records he delegated to people were some of his quote unquote biggest records. Like you look at All About the Benjamins and stuff like that. Right. Puff didn't do that, but he's credited for it.
Right.
So it's interesting. I would love to see if it still can happen. If it doesn't happen, tell us who you're gonna go against, just so we can speculate and talk about it. Right. But if it does, let us know. Hey, it's still a possibility. And I know everything that Dre has gone through since then. He might not be thinking about verses.
Right.
But I would have loved to see that. But he has a point though. Dre is known for his sound. I mean, beats by Dre.
Exactly. Like legit, he created a whole line of headphones to make sure motherfuckers heard his shit the way he wanted it to be heard.
Exactly.
So I'm not about to hop on no goddamn platform and
So I'm saying maybe Dre and Kanye. I would love to see that. If Kanye's not being crazy. I know that's a stretch, but
yeah, I was about to say you you
I'm asking for a lot.
you wishing on the star.
Well, shit. Speaking of Kanye, it was announced earlier this week, last week, whenever y'all hear this, that Kanye has been declared the richest black person in American history, valued at $6.6 billion with a B, $billion. All his assets, including his Yeezy clothing line, sneaker line, is saying his net worth is potentially $6.6 billion, which is not saying he has $6.6 billion in the bank, saying that's what he's worth. His Gap deal and his Yeezys alone are $4.7 billion. So that makes him the richest black person in the United States, like in the history of America. So that was a huge thing, and it was on for a while. And suddenly people started like, hold on, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. So of course, you put these numbers out here in the atmosphere, people are going to investigate
you. Yeah, people going to fact check.
Yeah. And coming from the Kardashian clan, well, if you recall, I don't know if we talked about this or not. If you recall, I think it was last year, Kylie Jenner was reported a billionaire, and they researched and said no, she's under like 700 million or something. So there was some extra zeros added. But pretty much the same thing happened with Kanye. They say he's listed at 6.6 billion. It's actually 1.8 billion, according to Forbes. Which is nothing to sneeze at.
Not at all.
Anything saying you're worth a billy is not a bad thing. However, that's a huge gap.
As Cat Williams said, you should be able to kill a nigga when you say that. Billion, nigga. Billion.
Right?
Bow,
Right?
bow, billion, nigga.
Right? You were for Billy, like, what are they going to say to you? But yeah, Forbes, everyone knows Forbes is the money people. You know what I mean? They do the Forbes list every year. So they're kind of accredited. We know it's not anybody just talking. So I tend to believe Forbes more than I believe anyone else. The initial 6.6 bill was reported by Bloomberg, which is a reputable magazine. However, people make mistakes.
Right.
So I mean, it's still a big thing. 1.8 billion is not nothing to sneeze at again, and that puts him in some legendary company. And even if he was just the richest black man in America history for a week, that's still an accomplishment. Like, that's an accomplishment for you. Shit. And considering he about to go through a divorce, I don't know how that would work. Do he have to come off his money or she come off her money? Because they both have money. But yeah, Kanye is actually worth 1.6 billion. I'm sorry, 1.8 billion. A lot of it comes from his shoes, Yeezys, that they sell like 200, 250, 300 a piece. I'm a sneaker guy, but I don't own any Yeezys. Sorry, it's not my thing. And his Gap deal, he has a Gap deal too. They said Nigeria's, and I'm gonna mispronounce this, so I apologize. But Nigeria's Aloki Dangote, I guess, is the richest black person in the world with a reported net worth of 11.8 billion. He's the richest black person in the world. So there's that. The more you know. For years, I think we talked about this last week when we was talking about versus who versus we would like to see. I mentioned I would love to see a G Unit versus Dipset versus.
Right.
But we all said, hey, that'll never happen because, you know, G Unit's beefing. Apparently not so. They came out this week that apparently Young Buck went to his Instagram live and said, hey, it was all a scam. We were playing y'all. It's a big con. It's a joke. Me and 50 are cool. Matter of fact, I'll let Buck better. Get him, Buck.
Got a master plan this shit. Man, I feel all kind of shit about you, nigga. I'm gonna make them hate you. You gonna make them love you. So what the fuck? Why the fuck you gonna do that? You like, nah, just trust me, nigga. I'm gonna make them hate you, nigga. I'm gonna say all kind of shit about you, nigga. You think you can handle it? I said, man, I don't give a fuck about this shit. So I just followed the nigga playing, and then all of a sudden, guess the nigga was right because they love me again. They don't love me again. And fuck them. They gonna think it's over for you. You gonna make them love you again. Y'all.
So, here's two-part question. One, and I like Buck, so shout out to Buck. First, do we believe him? That's first off. Do we believe that really happened? And two, do we love him again?
I'm not gonna say I love him again. I mean, at the time, I will say between him and Lloyd Banks, of course, those were my two favorite out of the unit. I will also say he doesn't sound too coherent.
Right.
He doesn't sound too much in his right mind in that particular video there. But hey, at the end of the day, I mean, I can't completely say that I think he's lying. I think that might have been or could possibly be a strategy that could have been used. It might just spun out of control a little further than what it was supposed to go. But my thing is, even if that was the plan, how many years was this plan supposed to be active? Like, God damn.
Like, because he's been clowning him for a while. But I mean, if they knew this was the plan, nah, I can't. Now that you say that, yeah, that's a great. Like, this been going on for a while, Fifth and Buck.
Yeah. Like, even to the, back to when he leaked the conversation of them on the phone and Buck crying and all of that.
Yeah. Now that you mention all this, yeah. It's just I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
if I could do that.
It's these things that just make you not just want to believe the hype, yo. Like social media, celebrities. It's just too much smoke and mirrors.
Exactly, because you never know what's true. You never know. Like you think somebody like 50, but somebody legitimate. You think that this is what their real life is, and you see the situations that you remember when Buck was in the grocery store with his girl and somebody ran up on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like all that stuff that can't be planned.
Nah.
You know what I mean? Some of that stuff can't be faked. I mean, I guess it can be. It was on camera.
Yeah, this is true. I don't know. Cameras at this point, at this day and age, cameras just seem to roll at the perfect time.
Exactly. Everything looks staged.
Yeah, it's just like, and action.
Exactly.
That should just be just in the middle of some shit. Like act like y'all already been fighting.
You know? So I'm gonna say this about you, and you say this, but we're gonna be cool afterwards. Don't say nothing about it. Like I'm not that good at acting to do something like that. I mean, I know 50 was Kanan, so he's mastered it.
Yeah,
I'm just not that guy. So, but I mean, hey, I've always liked Buck. Buck's always been cool with me. His sexual choices have nothing to do with me.
Agreed.
So maybe we get that JOYNER reunion after all. If they cool, if they're really cool, let's get that JOYNER reunion.
We shall see.
A couple things here we want to mention before we get to the streaming this week. It was announced. Well, I don't say it was announced. Keyshia Cole, my girl, Town Business, the winner of the Verzuz, one of the most beautiful women I've known in my life. Shout out to her brother Sean. What up, Sean? What up, Nuts? I know her. Like I'm getting all my plugs. You see this?
I see. That's why I'm laughing.
I shout him out every time too. I'm like, "What up, Nut?" He's like, "Yeah."
He just giving the whole rundown and everything.
He listened to Pod though. He told me.
Oh,
So I got Nut.
That's what's up.
So what up, Nut? I gotta make sure I shout you out. Like the fifth time, right? Anyway, she announced that she's retiring from music. She went to her Twitter on last week, about a week ago today, and announced she's retiring. She said she's not joking. She wasn't hacked. She's retiring for her children. She wants to spend more time with her kids and that life. So yeah, I think she's dropping one more album with her label. But she's gonna take her time with the album. But after this album, that's it. So she's committed to retiring. I'm not mad at her reasoning, and I actually believe her. I don't think it's like a publicity stunt. Yeah. I think she's serious about it. I think she's like, I'm done. Game over.
I mean, I definitely get it. After a while, you get tired of being away from your family. You get tired of missing birthdays and events and just creating moments and memories. So I definitely get it.
You got to think this life that celebrities lead, especially if you're a major celebrity, you're on tour constantly. You don't have time to spend with your kids. You miss those moments. I can imagine. I'm just like, yeah, I'm done with it.
Yeah, I mean, Tiana Taylor did the same thing just not too long ago.
Yeah, and she's from the town, so she she don't care about stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm from Oakland, it's whatever. That had nothing to do with anything, but I wanted to mention that because
I know. I know. Absolutely nothing to do with nothing.
Nothing to do with nothing. It's like saying, yeah, my hair is blue today, so what? What? Just down business. But yeah. So I wonder if we legit believe her, if the fans legit believe her, will this create a buzz around her next album? Or will it just be like, oh yeah, we don't believe you, whatever? And then 10 years later, we're like, what happened to Keyshia Cole? Like she's like, yeah, I told you I retired. Remember?
Yeah.
And Keyshia
I think it depends on how strong her first release is off of that, as far as the song and the visual. If it catches fire, then I think she'll get some of the "Don't retire, we want you." I mean, they've even I think she even screenshotted like a message that she got in her DM by one of her fans, basically saying they'll fuck her up if she retire. Like it was something like that. It was like they was just type spazzing politely.
Right. I mean, I'm not mad at her. She's 39 years old. She has her whole life in front of her. Like, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at all. And I get it. It's a lot. You know, it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, at some point you got to take a step back.
Yeah. Maybe I think it might be better if she said, yeah, I'm taking a break away from music, take care of my family.
Yeah, I think people just throw the word retirement out there too easy. It's just like, you know what? I'm going to fall back for a minute. It's going to be a hiatus, a break.
Yeah.
Like retirement means like, yeah, I'm not coming back. We saw how that happened when Jay said it. And if I'm not mistaken, Jay was like the first person to ever say it. So ever since that, it's been a trend. Like anytime somebody say they're gonna fall back from music for a while, they say, "Yeah, I'm retiring."
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think Jay was the first person to really make it a thing. I'm retiring from hip hop. I'm retiring from music.
Right.
And then dropped 5 more albums.
Yeah. Now, if that wasn't strategic, I don't know what was.
Right? But that's Jay, so you know. I don't know whether she decides to do.
Nah, in all fairness, Jay had been saying he was gonna retire for a while. He had been saying that since Volume 1.
Right.
So I'm gonna hit y'all with these last 2 and split and leave y'all with nothing but my influences.
Yeah, hey, that's a ball. That's a ball. That's a ball. Yeah.
So that was that was on Volume 1 because it was supposed to be Volume 2, Volume 3, and that was it.
Yeah. And 10 albums later. And I think Jay got another album coming out soon too. That's just, you heard it here first. I think Jay has another album coming out.
Pretty sure he does. You know, Nas won a Grammy. He got to do something.
Yeah. I was literally going to say that. He can't let Nas have that over him. He can't let Esco have that over him. So.
Wait a minute. Hold on, my nigga. You winning Grammys and shit? Hold on. Let me shut that shit down.
Here's the crazy part about this. And I think this first time I've heard anyone say this. But that's funny. Let's see. What do you have streaming for us this week?
Let's see. We got John Jiggs and BP, The Madness, Shanisi, Ice Cold, and Tragedy Gaddafi, Truth Hurts EP. L. Prez and Professor H, Angels with Dirty Faces. Benny the Butcher and Harry Fraud, The Plugs I Met 2. Tokyo Jets, Cancel Culture, and for the the people who was enlisted, you know, years and years ago, we got Fame. CGIF. Thank God it's Fame. Y'all don't know who Fame is. Fame was sad the best to be.
I'm mad you said enlisted.
They
were no limit soldiers.
He was enlisted. No, because I got that from a post. I think I seen on the gram or something. It was like, you know, when they ask you, are you a veteran or did you have any military service? They was like, yeah, I used to be a no limit soldier. Go ahead and apply my discount.
Exactly. Yeah. I served back in the 994 2000. Maybe he still going to pen and pixel. He's still going to pen and pixel and getting those No Limit covers done.
Nah. This joint look like his whole face look airbrushed.
Oh,
Like he ain't got. It looked like a mask almost. You know how when somebody, you ever seen when like a photographer that really doesn't know how to use Photoshop tries to airbrush a picture and like smooth
yeah,
out shit, and then it looked like somebody took like the brush tool or the eraser tool and just wiped everything off. So it's just almost like a blur. That's how his face looked on the cover. It's just
One
straight.
thing I've learned about photography and disproportionate view of themselves. They're the first people to say, "Hey, fix this, do this, do this." Why I look like that?
Yeah.
Because that's how you look. I've heard that. Why I look like that? 'Cause that's how-
It's just how we was feeling at the time.
Yeah. I will throw all blame on G as he picked this vibe. However, I will co-sign the vibe. So I'm with him on this vibe.
It's better than what was about to happen.
It's definitely better than that. 1,000%. 1,000%. And of course, in the vein of the Oakland natives we speak about, Keyshia and me, we can take a trip to the Bay. We got we got the ambassador of the Bay, E40 featuring Joyner Lucas and T.I. I stand on that. Is the vibe of the week.
You said the curb commentator?
That was the name of the album, right? Let me go through my iTunes.
I'm just saying. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly.
Yeah, I think that was the name of the album.
That's dope.
They floated on that. They floated. I mean, it's a year old, but still, they floated on it. Everybody floated on that. And I noticed how in the video, you could definitely tell that was COVID, pre-COVID or after COVID, because they weren't in the video together and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little stuff like that, I could tell. People just look at as them saying that just like Mount Rushmore, you have the founding fathers of the country.
I'm about to say the founding fathers.
The founding fathers of West Coast rap, and of course me. If you go to that page, you probably see me in the comments and say, what about Pop? It's just what I wake up all the time. That good shit out there.
Oh, okay.
Just for the album, not for that same part of the count. I think that's it, man. Anything else?
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah, it was a real quick show. Scan will be back next week. So don't add me. She'll be back next week. We'll do some different stuff. We'll announce it live next time we do live. Let y'all know. Things are moving differently. Things are moving differently. And in case your other podcast is not here anymore, feel free to listen to that.
So much shade.
That was messy. That was
so
messy.
much shade.
That was messy, but y'all know it's all love, man. We take a lot from them, and hopefully they take from us, so it's all love. When it did this without that inspiration, so shout out to them. They know who they are. Just being funny. So I guess Scan, y'all know where y'all can find Scan at on her social media. It's in the comments. We do it all the time. Follow her other podcasts, Three Sweet Talkers. Follow her OnlyFans. I heard she got a fire director in her OnlyFans, so y'all make sure y'all check out that content. G, where can they find you?
_G_LI on Twitter and Instagram.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
I mean that's what I heard. Fire director, good director is hard to come by. As far as me, y'all know me, man. I'm the Wade Vlogs from everywhere you never there. Spell it how it sounds. WADE. Bar. Get me in the booth. I'm ready.
Here you go.
I know, right? But I think that's it, man. We will let y'all know the next live show short. Next time we go live, we'll let y'all know. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. So just follow us, man. Show us love. We appreciate it. I do read the comments. I try to respond back to everybody now. Kind of antisocial. I'm working on that. I'm working on me. But I think that's it. So as always, you may agree with what we say. You may not agree with what we say.
Okay.
One thing you can agree with.
What's that?
Keep it uncut.
Uncut.
The next time, we'll catch y'all on the internet.
Cheer.
That was scans.